From South Carolina Public Radio, this is Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. Today we have a show dedicated to the highest office in the land. We're talking about the presidents. Hail to the chief, baby!
Hail to the chief, indeed. The game's all about the presidents this hour. Coming up, we'll see if you can guess the president based upon some interesting facts about their life, test your knowledge of presidential speeches from both history and Hollywood, and we'll hear a few stories about presidents that may or may not be true. But, Bran, in order to do all that, we're going to need some contestants.
No lies detected there, Dano. If you want to be a contestant on Who, What, When, just give us a call at 803-470-6347. That's 803-470-6347. Or you can send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org, and you'll have a chance to win a Who, What, When fanny pack and the weekly title of Who, What, When champion.
Man, doesn't get any bigger than that. Bran, who's your favorite president?
I gotta go with Ford.
Okay. A lot of Ford heads out there.
And I got to be honest, it has nothing to do with him and has to do with he's the only one I know of, aside from maybe Lincoln, that has a car named after him.
Yeah, both of those same company, too. Bill
Wow,
Ford
how
Tough.
about that?
That's right.
So that double the fun.
You don't remember President Johnny Mercury? You don't remember that guy?
Yeah, I do.
He's one of the lesser-known presidents.
Johnny
Hey,
Mercury
should we
crush.
get to our first game about presidents, Bran?
Yes, we should. Again, if you want to be a contestant on Who, What, When, give us a call, 803-470-6347.
And we have some callers on the line already.
Fast.
Caller number one, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Shannon, and I'm from Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado.
I love
Rockies.
Denver, Colorado.
Yes.
And you will be up against caller number two. Caller number two, who are you? Where are you from?
Hi, I'm Jessica from Fullerton, California.
Fullerton, California. So we got a mountain time and a West Coast over here.
Yes.
Okay, ladies, the first game we're going to play is called Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
That won't make it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the birthday of a president, and then I'm going to give you 3 clues. After each clue, if you think you know the answer, just shout it out. There is no penalty for a wrong guess.
Okay.
Which is, we just decided just now, I'm
Yeah.
getting word. You shout it out, and that clue will be the hardest clue. If neither of you gets it after one guess, we're going to go to an easier clue, and then we're going to go to the easiest clue, and then if neither of you get it, we'll just give you the answer, okay? So there'll be 6 of these, and we're going to see how many presidents you know based upon some fun or maybe just boring facts about them. We don't know. We'll see.
But mainly when they were born.
Yeah. And I will give you this hint. All 6 are Gerald Ford. You do need to know that up front.
The GOAT.
That's right. Let's go ahead and get to number 1, shall we, Bran?
Let's do it.
All right. This president was born on April 13th. April 13th. Clue number 1. Before becoming president, I co-authored the Virginia-Kentucky resolutions claiming that a state had the power not to follow a federal law it deemed unconstitutional.
Easy.
Madison?
Madison's incorrect. Shannon, you want to take a guess?
Not yet.
Okay. Clue number 2, here we go. This president commissioned Lewis and Clark to set out on a discovery mission of the newly purchased Louisiana Territory and a search for the Pacific Ocean.
Jackson.
No, it is not Jackson.
Oh.
Wow.
Here we go.
Lots of frustration.
I'm sorry, not Jackson. Clue number 3. While it was a joint effort with many founding fathers and even other presidents, this president typically gets credit for writing the Declaration of Independence.
Jefferson.
Jefferson is correct.
Who was that?
Who was that?
Jessica.
Jessica.
Jessica gets the point. Circle gets the square. It's 1-0 Jessica. Thomas Jefferson, born April 13th, 1743.
A good year.
A good year. Great year. Great vintage. President number 2 was born December 28th, 3 days after Christmas. First clue. This president made the first ever live radio broadcast by a president, which he did years after his presidency.
Eisenhower?
Incorrect.
I like the attempt.
Teddy
though.
Roosevelt?
Teddy Roosevelt, also incorrect. 2 good guesses, though. Those are both presidents. You're right. Yeah, and that's a good little spectrum there of time. Second clue. This president worked tirelessly to include the United States in the first ever international security organization, the League of
Wilson?
Nations. The U.S. refused to join as they believed it compromised their security. I heard the right answer. It is Wilson. That is correct. Jessica Trinidad may have a little bit of an advantage here. I'm starting to realize. Do you think so?
No, I don't think so. I think it was two lucky guesses so far, and we'll find out. We'll find out where we go from here.
Woodrow Wilson, born, as you know, December 28th, 1856.
Yes.
Of course, you knew that. Yeah.
1856.
Yeah. Number three, and happy birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Here on Who Would Win, South Carolina Public Radio. This president was born January 9th.
It's the day before me.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Mr. Brandon.
Thank you.
First clue. This is the first president to ever visit China.
Nixon.
Nixon is correct.
Dan, of course, you know this. I know that. Everybody knows this. But Richard Nixon's birthday, January 9th, 1913.
Yeah, we all knew
And I know
it.
I'm telling you stuff you know, but for the listeners out there.
Yeah. Tricky Dick is what
I knew
they
it.
called it.
Tricky Dick.
That's right. Next question. It's Who, What, When, South Carolina Public Radio. Daniel Thompson, Brandon Gray. A little game we call Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Don't say it if you don't want me to say it.
I got to do it. The whole thing is we have to recall. We have to continue to recall.
As do I.
We got to keep recalling the thing. All right. This president was born on April 27th. This president signed the Amnesty Act, which removed most of the penalties imposed on the Southerners after the Civil War.
Any guesses?
Johnson. Lincoln. No,
We had Johnson and Lincoln. Those are both presidents after the Civil War or right around there. Both incorrect. Let's go to the second clue. When this president was younger and became more famous in the U.S., he was given a middle initial that wasn't real and didn't even stand for anything. It just sounded
Harry Truman.
patriotic.
Gerald Ford.
I heard Harry Truman and Gerald Ford. It was neither of those two.
Oh.
Neither of those two.
Great guesses, though.
Great guesses again.
Also, shout out to Ford.
Shout out to Ford. He was built Ford tough. He was
was.
not given a patriotic initial. Last but not least, here we go. Before he was president, he won the first major Union victory of the Civil War at Fort Donelson, Tennessee, went on to capture the Mississippi River at
Ulysses S.
Vicksburg,
Grant.
and earning the nickname Unconditional Surrender.
Ulysses S. Grant.
Oh, I heard Shannon. I heard Shannon louder.
I heard
believe.
Shannon said Ulysses S. Grant is what I heard. And she's on the board. She's on the board.
New rule. You can't. You gotta wait until the question is
wait till
completely
it's
finished. I
finished.
thought that was clear.
Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this. The S in Ulysses S. Grant stands for nothing. They wanted to call him Unconditional Surrender Grant, United States Grant. His middle name is actually Ulysses. His first name is Hiram. Hiram Ulysses Grant.
If the S stands for nothing, shouldn't his middle initial be N?
Yeah, it should. He's so funny. But if you went with Hiram Ulysses Grant, that it would be Hug. So that's pretty cool too.
Hug does sound like someone that would surrender, though.
That's
so.
right, unconditionally. Congrats, Shannon, on getting that one right. All on your own. He was born April 27th, 1822. All right, here we go. We're moving on to number 5, February 12th. February 12th.
Yeah.
First
Score is
clue.
3-1, of course.
Of course, 3-1. Here we go. February 12th is the birthday. This president was a county wrestling champion by age 21.
Man, I don't hear any guesses.
Not a lot of guesses out there.
JFK.
JFK. Incorrect. So nobody else? No, JFK. All right. Second clue. This president was only the second presidential candidate ever from the Republican Party.
Lincoln.
Lincoln is correct.
Ooh.
Don't call it a comeback.
My goodness.
Shannon with 2 in a row, 3-2 currently, as we move to our last question of our first game. Who, What, When? South Carolina Public Radio. It's Brandon Gray. It's Daniel Thompson. We're celebrating the presidents this
Yes.
week. We're playing a little game called Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
I am uncomfortable. Here we go. Last one, January 30th. January 30th. This president was distantly related to 11 other former presidents.
FDR. George W. Bush.
Both great guesses. Jessica, I believe, is correct. She said Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and that is the correct answer. Jessica, nicely done. FDR related to 11 other former presidents. Since you didn't ask, but he's also the only president to serve more than 2 4-year terms, and he called the attack on Pearl Harbor a day that will live in infamy. There you go. Jessica is going to win round 1. Jessica's going to win round 1.
It's not out of reach, though, for you, Shannon. This round is ending with Jessica up 4-2, which means Jessica's up 1-0. So this next game, when we come back from break, is very important for you, Shannon. So pay close attention.
Yeah, because I don't know if we mentioned it yet, and I don't know how we forgot yet, Brand, but fanny pack on the line.
Yes.
This is serious. Hand stitched by you.
Yeah.
This is it. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, this is a valuable piece of memorabilia. You're listening to Who, What, When here on South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. We've got our contestants, Jessica and Shannon. They're playing with us today.
Jessica won that first round here on this presidential edition of Who, What, When. In just a moment, we've got another game about the Commanders-in-Chief, this time with a Hollywood twist.
That's coming up right after this break here on Who, What, When.
Welcome back to Who, What, When, South Carolina Public Radio's hour of history, games, and trivia. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. It is presidential week here on the show. We're celebrating our nation's highest office.
And if you want to join in on the fun, give us a call, 803-470-6347, or send us an email to whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
And Dan, we like the contestants from the first round so much that they're still on the line. I'm talking about Jessica and Shannon. Jessica, she won the first round, but Shannon still has a chance to take this one.
No one is more thrilled than me than to be done with Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Yeah. And moving on to our second game, which is one of our faves around here. It's called Hollywood or History.
Yes.
So, ladies, for this game, we're going to read you a quote. And when I say we're going to read you a quote, Brandon Gray is going to do his best reenactment of a quote. Now, this quote is either from a real-life president or it's from a president that you would have seen on the screen, a fictional...
Silver or otherwise.
Silver or otherwise. That is exactly right. You do not have to know the president or the actor. You just have to guess if it is Hollywood or history. Now, there are 6 of these. We're going to alternate. So Shannon will go first on number 1. Then Jessica will go number 2. Back and forth we go. So this is not a jump in and guess situation. You can take as much time as you want, talk through your answers, do whatever you need to do. Are we ready to get going?
Yes.
Shannon, the first Hollywood or history question is yours. Brand, take it away.
More than any time in our history, America's destiny is not our own choosing. We did not seek, nor did we provoke an assault on our freedoms or our way of life. We did not expect, nor did we invite a confrontation with evil. Yet, the true measure of people's strength is how they rise to master that moment when it does arrive.
Whew! Man, that is it. Chills, Brand.
Wow.
Great job. Shannon, what are you thinking right now?
Well, that was a very dramatic reenactment. So part of me is like, well, it sounds a little Hollywood, but the words itself, they do sound like I have heard them. I'm going to go with history here.
She's going to go with history, Brand, and she is going to be incorrect.
Ooh, Shannon, that was a close one.
Oh.
That was a speech given by me, of course, but first by one President Jed Bartlett from the West Wing, of course, Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen, that's right. But I mean,
I did my best Martin Sheen there.
That was a good Martin Sheen. I would hope you read them all the same.
Of course.
Okay,
Wow.
good. That's Aaron Sorkin's dialogue there, but as presidential as any, I would say. Yeah.
I was inspired.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Let's move on to question 2 here on Who, What, When. We're playing a little Hollywood or history. These quotes are from either fictional presidents or from real life presidents. Jessica, are you ready for your first quote?
I am.
Brandon, take it away.
Do this.
Real peace is not just the absence of conflict. It's the presence of justice. And tonight, I come to you with a pledge to change America's policy. Never again will I allow our political self-interest to deter us from doing what we know to be morally right. Atrocity and terror are not political weapons.
All right. Once again, you're crushing it, Bran.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is much better than Happy Birthday, Mr. President.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Jessica, tell me what you're thinking right now.
So it sounds an awful lot like what would have been said in response to 9/11, but it also sounds a lot more articulate than W was. This is rough. I'm going to just jump in and say history.
She's going to jump in and say history, and she is going to be incorrect.
Ooh, Jessica.
Oh.
That was from President James Marshall from Air Force One, of course, played by Harrison Ford.
Yeah. It sounded a lot like Martin Sheen, in all honesty.
It did. Well,
Those are tough ones, guys.
Harrison Ford, George W. You can barely tell them apart.
I got to be honest. I taught history for 20 years. I would struggle mightily with this game. Both of those speeches sound like a president would have definitely given them. All right, Shannon got a chance to take the lead here. Number 3, it's Who, What, When. It's South Carolina Public Radio. It's Daniel Thompson. It's Brandon Gray playing a little Hollywood or history. Brandon's going to give you a quote. Is it Hollywood or is it a real historical president? Brandon, take it away.
Confidence and courage are the essentials of success in carrying out our plan. You people must have faith. You must not be stampeded by rumors or guesses. Let us unite in banishing fear. It is up to you to support and make it work. It is your problem, my friends. Your problem no less than it is mine. And together we cannot fail.
All right. That was really powerful stuff.
I was really
You were in
nervous
it.
going into Stampeded,
I had the script
and
in front
I
of me,
figured it out.
And you Stampeded, I had like ripping you to shreds, and you took it to the mat. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Shannon, what are you thinking here?
Oh, this is so hard. That sounded like Hollywood, and obviously I have already guessed history and been wrong. But together we cannot fail sounds like history. I think I'm going to go with history again.
She's going with history again. Can someone be right in this game? Yes, they can.
Wow, well done.
Shannon is correct. It is history.
That's
Brand,
right.
you know about this. Tell us the history of this.
I do. Maybe you've heard of one FDR from his first fireside chat back in March of 1933, I believe, Dan?
That's right. Really good job. You just pulled that from the top of your head.
Yes,
for sure.
of course.
Yes, the fireside chats during the Great Depression.
Yes.
The whole
The D in FDR doesn't actually stand for anything.
It stands for Delano. You were wrong there, but that's okay. It is a fun fact that is neither a fact nor fun. You're on the board. Shannon's up 1-0. Jessica, you have the board. It is your turn. Are you ready?
I am.
All right.
Do this.
Hit me, Bram.
The whole book of history reveals mankind's never-ending quest for peace and mankind's God-given capacity to build. It is with the book of history and not with isolated pages that the United States will ever wish to be identified. My country wants to be constructive, not destructive. It wants agreements, not wars, among nations. It wants itself to live in freedom and in the confidence that the peoples of every other nation enjoy equally the right of choosing their own way of life.
Wow, that's poignant. That's
It
good
is.
stuff. We could learn a lot from that. Jessica, what are you thinking?
It's like when they're really well-written speeches and you can understand them, it's like this must have been written by somebody for a movie. But also, it does sound an awful lot like Wilson selling the League of Nations, maybe. So I'm going to go with history.
She's going to go with history, and she was on the right track, and she is correct.
That is amazing, but it is
Amazing.
not exactly
Yeah.
who you think it is, Jessica. It's actually Dwight Eisenhower.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Atoms for Peace speech
Yes,
from
this is-
December of 1958.
It's a Cold War speech, but similar intonations than what Wilson was trying to get.
Cold
at. So-
War, but a hot speech.
Oh, you said it, man. All right, so we got 2 left, and it's tied. It's tied 1-1. Anything could happen. So, Shannon, are you ready to see if you can break that tie?
I'm ready.
All right, Brand, take it away.
Cities fall, but they are rebuilt. And heroes die, but they're remembered. We honor them with every brick we lay. with every field we sow, with every child we comfort, and then teach to rejoice in what we have been re-given, our planet, our home. So now, let us begin.
Shannon, what are you thinking?
Oh, I'm going to go with Hollywood on that one.
Why? Why are you going with Hollywood, do you think?
Oh, I feel like the odds.
She's playing the odds.
She's playing the odds.
It sounds like very, like, as Jessica said, like, it sounds well written.
All right. She's going with Hollywood. I'd love to tell you the answer is Gerald Ford. It isn't. It is Hollywood. Shannon is correct.
All right.
That is, who is that?
That's President Beck from Deep Impact, of course, played by one Morgan Freeman. Now,
Yeah.
I didn't even want to try doing a Morgan Freeman voice.
Fool's errand.
So just go check out Deep
No.
Impact if you want that. It's real good.
A fool's errand to do it.
I felt like the giveaway there was maybe the Our Planet, Our Home
Yeah.
type thing. Which
re-given
yeah.
Our Planet, Our Home, I think
Yeah.
was the giveaway there. I think, not as tough as some of the others.
Yeah.
I was reading it with you going, that is the one I could pick
But
up.
I will say, if any president could have given that, Ford would have been
Ford would have done it. Yeah. Gerald Ford for sure.
to fire Ford.
You're listening to Who, What, When on South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson. That's Brandon Gray.
Hello.
We're playing a little game called History or Hollywood, and here are the stakes. Jessica's won the first game. Shannon is up in the second game, 2-1. Jessica needs to get this right for us to go to a tiebreaker for this game. She's got to determine if the speech Bran is about to read is from history and from a historical president, or it is from a president from a Hollywood movie or TV show. Bran, whenever you're ready, take it away.
There must be a changing there that will allow us to turn our hope into action. We will pray forever that someday that changing will come. But for now, particularly today, it is good and fitting to renew our commitment to each other, to our freedom, and to the alliance that protects it. We are bound today by what bound us 40 years ago. The same loyalties, traditions, and beliefs. We're bound by reality.
All right, Jessica, what are you thinking?
Well, the praying part makes me think presidents would say that, but presidents say praying all the time. So, and also trying to figure out though what was 40 years apart that needed that speech, and it sounded like difficult enough to understand to be something a real president would say. But I'm going to jump in and say Hollywood.
She's going to jump in and say Hollywood. Jessica is incorrect.
Jessica,
Bow, bow, bow.
you gave so many reasons to
I
guess
know.
correctly. You talked yourself out of it. That was Ronald Reagan's D-Day anniversary speech from June of 1984.
Classic Reagan, World War II, God, all the highlights were there. Yeah, but a tough one nonetheless. Okay, so here's what just happened.
Yes.
We're making a Who, What, When history here. Jessica won the first game. Shannon won the second game. So guess what's happening now? Both Shannon and Jessica move on to the third game. Both are playing for the Who, What, When fanny pack.
Yes, and I will say we planned for this. Of
We
course.
did?
We've planned for this. We are ready. And I think our third game is a perfect game to help decide who's ultimately going to be the winner of that fanny pack, Dano.
You're listening to Who, What, When, an hour of history, games, and trivia here on South Carolina Public Radio. I'm Daniel Thompson.
And I'm Brandon Gray. We've got ourselves a tie between our contestants, Jessica and Shannon, on this episode that's all about the presidents. And here's the thing, coming up after this break, we're going to see if they can tell which stories about some of our commanders-in-chief are real and which one is fake.
That's coming up right here on Who, What, When.
Welcome back to Who, What, When. It's South Carolina Public Radio's Hour of History, Quizzes, and Trivia. I'm Brandon Gray.
And I'm Daniel Thompson, and this week we're talking about the ovalest of offices, the chiefest of commanders. Of course, I'm talking about the presidents of the United States.
Dan, I don't know about you. It's hard for me to hail to all of these chiefs with all this racket going on in the studio. This is a place of business, a professional place of podcasting and radioing.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't notice that. I think our new next door neighbors are a bunch of frat boys. I don't want to make a big deal about it and seem all old and lame, though. Let's see if we can get on good with them.
What are you making a big Dan, we're professionals. I'm gonna lodge a noise complaint. Frat boys, this is not what I need today, Dano. You know it.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him right now. Excuse me, kind gentlemen. Do either of you have any extra Solo cups and bags of ice? Me and the boys are really getting after it today.
Cups of ice? What are you
Oh, you're getting after it? It's the morning.
Yeah, my boy Warthog totally told me he saw you guys with cups and ice earlier.
Did you say someone's name is Warthog? Well,
So cool.
you can tell Warthog that he's wrong. We don't have, this is South Carolina Public Radio. I don't know why I'm even dignifying this with any sort of answer. Who are you?
Oh, pardon me, my dudes. I'm the party animal. I'm your go-to source for anything and everything party. If it's a party, I know about it. Major bummer that you don't have those cups and ice, though. Be way cooler if you did. I hope our party we're throwing isn't too raucous for you two.
Nah, bro. Super chill. Not a big deal. All party animals, sir, here.
What are you doing? I don't know why you, Dan, are talking about this guy.
It's Warthog,
why are you even
man.
talking to him? I don't know, because here's the thing. We're in the middle of Who, What, When. We don't have time for this.
Who, what, when? Is that like your frat or something?
Yeah, you can say that. How about a high
Stop!
five?
Dan, stop! It is not a frat! Party animal? We're trying to record a quiz show right now.
You guys have a quiz show? Bro, I love quizzes. You gotta be kidding me. What's the topic?
Well, this week's show's on the president's.
Oh, snap. Because I'm totally the president of my frat. Are there any questions about me?
Oh boy, well, this is a little party animal. No, we're not talking about you. We're not talking about frat presidents. We're talking about America, the political parties, the American president, the parties. Come on.
Hold on. Bran, my man, did you say political parties? You're talking to the one and only party animal, bro. I know tons about political parties. Would you do me the honor and allow me to humbly and respectfully ask you two dudes some quiz questions about the most choice third parties from American history?
Yeah, of course, party animal.
What?
We love your help. Question away, bro.
Okay, let's get some ground rules. Naturally, you two ultra homies will be working together, bros before foes, you know what I mean?
No, I don't know what
I would
you mean.
never consider breaking up the WWW brain trust. So here we go. If you're ready, number one.
Bros
not
before
ready.
foes. Let's do it.
Let's start out super easy, super current. This noted Nepo baby, whalehead, chopper offerer / bear cub murderer / vaccine skeptic was recently running as a candidate for the We the People Party.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I don't know why we're doing this, but I will say I do think that this is Robert Kennedy,
yeah,
right?
it's Robert
Robert
RFK.
Kennedy.
Yeah, that's what we're going with, party animal. How we doing so far?
Oh, we're locking it in, dude.
Oh, we're locking it
we did
in.
it.
You guys are dialed
Yeah,
right
we are.
now, totally. All right, RFK is correct.
Party animal, I just want to get this straight, and I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, go ask,
And,
ask me any question. I'm an open book.
Will Keg stand with you later, but
Yeah.
you love to party with your frat. You're
Yes,
the president.
correct.
And the only thing you love to do more than that is stop partying to ask president questions.
No, see, I am an expert on parties.
Okay,
and
I got you.
I don't discriminate on what is and is not a party. And so third parties, I got the deets.
Okay,
I
good.
got the deets just off the top of my head.
So these are all third party.
this is
questions.
third parties.
He's a party animal.
I'm a
man.
party
What do you
animal.
not understand about this?
Here's the thing. I get it. Just I don't think we have the time here. We have a game going on right now. But I am interested now in the second question. I will be honest.
I knew I was going to get you, Brando.
Well, I wouldn't
Dude,
say
I
that.
knew it. I
I
knew
wouldn't
it.
say that.
Well, I got a few more, okay? Okay, number two. George Wallace, famous segregationist, formed the American Independent Party. In 1968, Wallace didn't think he could actually win, but he could play a kind of spoiler where he could deny this eventual winner enough electoral votes to win outright, thus throwing the election into disarray. Who are we talking about here?
68. The eventual winner in 68, Brand, was, I believe, one Richard Milhouse Nixon.
Sure.
as you know.
Yeah, I would have
of
said
course.
Nixon
Yeah.
or
so
Janice.
do you want to tell
So-
the party animal Nixon or Janice? Which do you
I
wanna
don't
go
really want to tell the party animal anything.
He's here.
I
he's
know. I
staying,
understand.
He
he's
knows
here.
about third parties. What do you not understand?
Again,
He's a party animal.
There's literally nothing about this that
party
I don't
animal.
understand.
Excuse
Let's go
my
Nixon.
friend. Is it Nixon?
Nixon is correct.
Yeah, it is, bro.
Yay.
The crazy thing is this nearly worked. Wallace won 5 frickin' states, dude. Wallace ran again the next election and was shot and paralyzed while on the trail. So
All right. Thanks, party animal. We got to keep going, buddy.
I just got a few more, Brando.
I love it. Great.
All right, next one. Can I finish, Brand?
Oh yeah, I know it already.
The Reform Party was created as a kind of presidential ego trip by this Texas billionaire who was regularly lampooned on SNL, Saturday Night Live, by Dana Carvey. Do we know?
Party animal. Do you think we didn't know what SNL was because we're
I appreciate
old?
it.
I don't know how you do it in the biz, so
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
going to hit you if I have to hit you,
I
you
got
know?
you. We'll high five later on that.
Okay,
Bran,
maybe.
I got to be honest, Bran. I know this one. I knew it when he said, "Can I finish?" Do you know it?
I feel like I'm gonna kick myself when I hear the name, but it's not ringing any bells for me.
Are we looking for Ross Perot?
Ross Perot is correct.
Dang
Right
it.
on.
In
Right on.
92, good year, 92, Perot's campaign is widely considered the reason George H.W. Bush
right.
lost re-election to Clinton.
Yep.
Anyway, next question.
How is there more?
Speaking of the Reform Party, this ex-wrestler / star of Predator ran under its banner and won the race for governor of Minnesota.
Oh, what's his name?
Do you not know this one?
No, I do know it. Of course, I know it.
His wrestling name-
Jesse.
The body?
Ventura.
Ventura.
Yes.
That is right.
Brando, my guy, nailing the body. I love to hear it.
100% not your guy.
Brando,
Little fun fact for my dude, Donald Trump actually made a play for president in 2000 under the Reform Party too. That little bit's for free.
So that was question 4, right?
Yeah, 3
That's
more.
good.
3
How?
more.
How?
All right, here we go. Ralph Nader is widely thought of as a political activist and famously ran as a Green Party candidate in 2000. Many blame him for Al Gore's loss in the Electoral College, but Nader first came into the public's eye many years earlier for his advocating for the implementation of what safety device?
now we're getting tough.
I'm sorry. Now I'm interested. What was the final
got
part of
it.
the question? He's trying to put something in place or outlaw something?
He's advocating for the implementation
Yes.
of a safety device we all use every day.
Seatbelt.
I'm gonna go with
Seatbelt.
You think seatbelt?
What do you think it
I
is?
was gonna go with what's it called when there's like an alert, like Amber Alert or something like that.
Like a emergency broadcast.
Emergency broadcasting. Yeah.
I think
He said something we use every day. I like seatbelt. Let's go with that. It makes more
seatbelt.
sense.
Let's go with seatbelts.
Seatbelt is correct,
Great.
my
Right
guys.
on.
Yes.
Right on.
Dude, hit him with the shaka. He's actually in the Highway Safety Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Dude knows how to party.
Yeah, he
Many
does.
people crowed that mandating seatbelts was government overreach, and if you can believe it, I'm sure that you can.
Yeah.
I 100%
New Hampshire
can.
still doesn't require it, if you can believe it.
They party.
They party.
Dude,
party.
New Hampshire parties. Anyway,
All right,
next one.
Party animal. I'm getting word. We got to move. We got.
Yeah, we got to move to these last 2 questions.
That's not.
Right.
You know that's not what I
Here
meant.
we go.
I love you,
Okay.
party animal.
This tech entrepreneur and his gang started the Forward Party in 2020. The platform idea that garnered the most attention was a $1,000 universal basic income for all American families. How many parties does $1,000 get you? Okay, but anyway, who's this?
You know it, Bran. You know it.
His gang.
Yeah.
Like you and me, you were in a gang.
God, it hurts. It stings. Bran, you don't remember?
I remember. The names. I'm not good with names and faces. You know
Andrew?
that. Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang.
Thank you.
Andrew Yang
That's
is
all I
correct.
needed.
The Yang Gang, baby.
All right,
That's
Yang
right.
Gang. Let's get out of here.
Last
That was
one. Let's get
One
out of here
more
with
for
this
the road
last
party
one.
animal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dan gets it. Okay.
Do you promise?
After being unable to reclaim the Republican nomination for president, Teddy Roosevelt created the Progressive Party, better known as this party, so he could nominate himself to run against Taft and Woodrow Wilson.
I know this one as well, but I'd love for Bran to guess. Do you want to give
This
it a guess?
is the name of a party.
It's the
I
name
will
of a
give you
party.
this. It's the name of 2 different animals.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Wolf and Bull Party.
The wolf and bull. You got one of the
Hey,
2.
you know what? I'm going to give you 50% on that, which is
looking-
pretty good. It's
looking for bull moose
It's the
party.
Bull Moose Party. Actually, the most successful third party, which is chill, okay? We love that. He got 27% of the vote and won 6 states.
Yeah.
It all came at the expense of Taft and the Republicans and ensured a blowout win for Wilson and the Democrats. Come on, that's a party.
Party
Brand-
animal, this was righteous.
Brand-
come on, man, just one.
You know what?
Just a quick one.
You know what? I liked it.
I got all the
liked it.
questions.
I liked it.
I got all the questions right, party animal.
Toga.
Anyway,
Toga.
I hear Warthog. I'm technically his legal guardian. I can't leave him alone for that long, so I gotta go get him, guys. I'm sorry, but I gotta go.
All right, party animal, thanks so much for dropping by.
Hey, stay partying,
We'll
okay?
stay partying, buddy.
All right, it's time to get back to our games here on Who Will Win, South Carolina Public Radio's hour of history and trivia. I'm Brandon Gray. I'm here with my buddy, my pal, Daniel Thompson.
Thanks, buddy. And it's President's Week on the show, and we've got games all about the highest office in the land. If you want to join in the fun, give us a call, 803-470-6347, or send us an email to whowhatwin@scpublicradio.org.
And Dan, I got to be honest, we got ourselves a bit of a unicorn game today
Yeah, we do.
because both contestants, Jessica and Shannon, they are moving on to the finals. What a match we have.
What a match indeed, Brand. Jessica and Shannon are tied. This next game is for all the marbles to see who takes home the title of Who What Win champion, and of course, that vaunted Who What Win fanny pack.
And I think we got the perfect game to help break that tie, Dan. We are heading into the final round, which is going to be a game we like to call History or His Story. This is a very simple game. It's tough, but if you listen closely and try to pick up on some things, I think you might be able to figure it out. Here's how the game is going to go. Dan is going to tell us 3 stories about a president, and one of those stories is not true. The other 2 are from history. One of them is his story, hence History or His Story. Very excited about this. Dan, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. And after each story, they're going to get a chance to ask some questions.
That's right. They will get a chance to ask some
And then
questions.
at the end, they're going to choose which one my lie is.
That's correct.
Okay. And if they both get it right, they both get a fanny pack.
Can we afford that?
Are we giving
I
it
don't,
away?
Man, I don't know.
I mean, you're the one with the sewing machine in the car out
That's
there.
true.
Do
Yeah,
you-
no, I would
Okay.
I'd make it happen. That's for sure.
You would
If
make it
if they
happen.
can both get this, then I will absolutely make sure they each get a fanny pack.
I love it.
I would bet the farm. Are our listeners still there? Shannon, are you available?
I am here.
Shannon, how are you feeling going into this? Or do you feel like you're good at detecting the lie?
You know, we're gonna see, but I feel pretty confident right now.
I love it. Coming off a win
Jessica,
there. Yeah, for
Jessica, this is big. This is a big final round. How are you feeling going into it?
Well, I'm really excited about that fanny pack, so
Yeah.
I'm going to go with blood on this one.
I think
so.
we all are, Jessica. I think that's the scuttlebutt
huge.
around the office here is always fanny pack related.
It's
we try
huge.
to curb it, but it's tough. It's tough out there.
Final round, fanny pack on the line. Dan, take it away with the first story here on History or His Story.
All right, so I'm going to tell you all 3 story titles up front.
Okay.
The story titles are No Presidents for a Day, 2 Presidents for a Day, 1 President Forever. Those are the 3 titles. 0 presidents for a day, 2 presidents for a day, 1 president forever. First story, No Presidents for a Day. It starts right now. David Rice Atchison was a Democratic senator from Missouri serving in Congress from 1843 to 1855. He also was technically president of the United States for a day. While Atchison was an unfortunately staunch defender of many of the racist policies during our nation's westward expansion, he is most known for his role in the presidential transition of 1849. As you're aware, after a new president is elected, there's a time period where the newly elected president transitions into office. This occurs on January 20th after each presidential election on the first Tuesday of November, meaning there's almost a 3-month gap between election and inauguration. Before the 1930s and the adoption of the 20th Amendment, that gap was actually longer, lasting all the way until the first week of March, meaning the newly elected president didn't assume the office until 4 full months after Election Day. Zachary Taylor from the Whig Party won the election of 1848, defeating Lewis Cass of the Democratic Party. He was set to take office on March 4th, 1849, but a funny thing happened on the way to the calendar that year, which is March 4th, 1849 was on a Sunday. Taylor In observance of the Christian Sabbath and in an effort to separate church and state, did not want to conduct his inauguration into the office of presidency on a Sunday, opting to be sworn in as president on March the 5th. The previous president, James Polk, his term ended on March 4th, 1849 at noon, and at that point, neither Polk nor Taylor was president of the United States, technically, so who was president? Enter David Rice Atchison. According to the Presidential Succession Act of 1792, Senate President pro tempore would be the next in line for the presidency after the president and vice president. As newspapers began to circulate this information, Atchison being president for a day, noon on March 4th to noon on March 5th, became a nationwide joke. There were even rumors of Atchison signing some presidential documents. Years after the event and years after all of this had passed, Atchison would say that he did not even consider himself president, nor did he take the idea seriously or act as president of the United States. Historians are mixed on if Atchison was president or if the office was just vacant. Either way, somehow the nation survived. That is the end of story number 1. Bran, what do you think?
Oh, that sounds plausible.
Plausible.
I think.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter really what I think. Shannon, Jessica, do either of you have questions about this story before we head into story 2?
Just to recap, March 4th was the Sunday, March 5th was the Monday. So basically from like Sunday to Monday, noon to noon. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
That was no presidents
That
for
was
a day?
no presidents for a day. That
So
is
now we're
correct.
heading into one president?
To 2 presidents for a day.
2 presidents
No presidents for a day, 2 presidents for a day, 1 president forever.
Okay. got
Okay?
it.
Because 1 president for a day, that happens every day. I don't know
Okay.
if you know. That's how that works.
Interesting.
All right. The second story, 2 presidents for a day, starts right now. The election of 1876 is one of the weirder elections in U.S. history. Over a decade removed from the Civil War, Republicans had been in congressional and executive power since 1860. Ulysses S. Grant, as we all know.
Yes. S. Fake.
S is fake. That's exactly right. Good job. You're learning. His second term was coming to an end, and the defeated South began to gain more of a foothold in government. Samuel Tilden, a Democrat from New York, seemed to have the momentum and popularity to be the next president, the first Democrat to hold office since before the Civil War. He was running against Rutherford B. Hayes from the Republican Party. The election was close, but it appeared that Tilden had clearly won the popular vote. The electoral votes, well, it was a bit complicated. 3 states, Florida, Louisiana, and the Palmetto State, South Carolina, still had Union troops present due to Republican legislation after the Civil War. They had some sway over the elections, who was and who was not allowed to vote, and were also a major point of contention for these 3 southern states. The Republicans wanted to maintain their control of the presidency, so they reached a compromise with the Democrats. In exchange for the electoral votes from these 3 states, the Union would remove all of the troops stationed there, thus ending Reconstruction and also giving the Republicans another term in the White House. The compromise was agreed upon, and so by an unusual set of circumstances, our next president was not Samuel Tilden, but was Republican Rutherford B. Hayes. Here's where things get a little wonky. It was such an unusual and most people would say downright illegal compromise that the Republicans were unsure if the Democrats would hold up their end of the bargain. There was talk of Tilden's group of supporters actually blocking the inauguration on March 4th to ensure that a Hayes presidency would never happen. Well, this caused Ulysses S. Grant to take matters into his own hands. The night before the inauguration, Grant, Hayes, and Supreme Court Chief Justice Morrison White met in secret where Hayes was secretly sworn into the office of the presidency. Hayes' formal inauguration went off without a hitch. Cooler heads prevailed, but the preventative measures by Grant and the Republicans technically meant that the day before the inauguration, both Hayes and Grant were presidents of the United States at the same time. That is the end of story number 2. Brand, still bored?
No, not at all. I think that this is I would say this is fishy. I think this is a little bit of a fishy situation.
It's a fishy situation.
But that's kind of the whole point here. But it
It
doesn't
is.
matter, once again, what I think. It matters what our listeners think. Shannon, Jessica, any questions coming out of that one that might help you feel better about your choice?
Could you please repeat the southern states?
The southern states were Florida, Louisiana, and South Carolina.
Okay, thank you.
Shannon?
If he was inaugurated in secret, was it official?
Yeah, the Supreme Court justice issued the oath of office to him. So he swore in a new president. All it takes to be official is a swearing in by the Supreme Court.
You're listening to Who, What, When here on South Carolina Public Radio. We are playing History or His Story. Dan, you've told two stories. You have one to go, and one of these stories is not true. That's what these two contestants are trying to figure out. So, Dan, take it away with that final story.
The last story, Bran, is called One President Forever, and it starts right now. The election of 1932 was entirely about the financial recovery from the stock market crash of 1929 and the subsequent Great Depression. The incumbent president, Herbert Hoover, favored a much more laissez-faire approach, believing that the market would correct itself. Whatever Hoover did do was too little too late, as he lost the election to Franklin Delano Roosevelt amidst depressed economy that was only getting worse. Roosevelt, on the other hand, promised relief, reform, and recovery for the American people. He pitched a new deal to the American people, one where a government that works for the people also is one that makes laws that help individuals through economic times. It's the FDR presidency that gave us such social bedrocks as Social Security, unemployment, welfare, and many others. To accomplish this, though, Roosevelt believed there were no bad ideas. He sent advisors to countries all around the world to take notes on how each of these countries were governed. Countries like the Soviet Union, countries in Asia, countries all over the world. He also utilized the executive order of the president like it had never been used before, nor has it been used since. A lot of people think that modern-day presidents use the executive order, not compared to FDR. In his time in office, Roosevelt issued over 3,000 executive orders, by far the most in the United States history. No president since FDR has even issued 1,000. These executive orders extended to many walks of life. Throughout the Roosevelt presidency, the Supreme Court was busy keeping FDR's power in check, routinely ruling that New Deal laws were unconstitutional. One of FDR's most controversial ideas never came to fruition due to the better judgment of his Secretary of State, James F. Burns, coincidentally from South Carolina. In FDR's second term, with dictatorships popping up all over the world, Roosevelt considered an executive order to postpone the 1940 election. In the interest of appeasing anti-imperialists who wanted the United States to remain out of war, isolationist, and not fight against the Nazis in Europe, FDR believed this to be a safe measure. He would remain president until the problem of Hitler and Mussolini had been solved, also ensuring that the U.S. wouldn't change courses on solving the economic crises of the time. Burns, believing the order not only to be a bridge too far, but also a death knell for Roosevelt's chances at re-election, talked Roosevelt out of issuing the order. He never did, but he did win re-election anyway in 1940 as well as 1944, becoming the longest tenured president in our nation's history. That is the end of story number 3. Brando, what are you thinking?
This is tricky. This is going to be a tricky one. I'm excited to see what our contestants...
Fanny pack's on the line, too,
I
so
know.
you know you can feel the tension right now.
You sure can. Before we make our guesses, I do want to make sure that everybody has any questions that they have about this specific story answered. Shannon, Jessica, any questions about this third story before we make our guesses?
Yeah, can you repeat the day or year that Roosevelt was trying to pass that?
It was in 1938, so midst of the Roosevelt recession.
I like the way that Jessica's playing this game, though. She's asking you to repeat specific things to see if she can trick you up. I like this play. I like it a lot. Shannon, anything that you would like clarified or anything like that?
Was this something that he announced, like, to the American people that he was going to do?
This was an idea that only his cabinet knew about until after FDR was dead. So it was one of the many executive orders. He signed over 3,000, but this is one of the many that never saw the light of day. We didn't find out about it actually until James F. Burns wrote about it.
All right. I will take that silence to mean that you have every question answered that you have, which means it is time to guess which of the 3 stories is Dan's story. Really quick, Dan, remind us of the 3 stories.
We have 0 presidents for a day, 2 presidents for a day, 1 president forever. Those are the 3 stories. You got to choose the lie. We're going to go with Shannon first.
Sure, why not?
Shannon, what do you think?
This was so hard. I feel like it's possible that 1 and 2 happened. I think number 3 because it was something that never saw the light of day, as Dan said, and was written about later. That seems to me to be the lie, but I'm just going to go with number 3.
She's going with story number 3, One President Forever.
It's a good guess. Jessica, do you agree, or would you like to go with a different one? And I would just say, for the sake of my hands and my sewing abilities, to please pick a different one, but it's up to you.
I feel like I remember learning about number 3. And then with number 1, in that time period, it was super common to honor Sunday, so that seems super plausible as well. Number 2 seems absolutely bonkers. I can't for the life of me think of Southern states in that time period agreeing to something like that, especially those particular states. So I'm going to go with number 2 being his story.
Well reasoned, well thought out, both of them. Bran, you heard all 3. Did you have any inkling?
For funsies, I'll go with 1. I think that 1 is your story. Once
love
again,
this.
we're playing History or His Story here on Who, What, When. We have all made our guesses as to which of the three stories is a lie. Dano, please reveal which one is your story.
Story number 1's no presidents for a day. That is 100% true.
Oh, no.
You missed it, Bran.
One day I'll get my
You
own
missed
fanny
it.
pack.
David Rice Atchison was technically president for a day. Story number 2, 2 presidents for a day. Also true.
Whoa!
Yeah, also true. That election of, go look up the Compromise of 1777, election of 1876. A weird time to be alive in our nation. It is quite a story.
How about that?
And number 3, while FDR did sign executive orders and propose them for literally everything, to our knowledge, this is not one of them. So story number 3 is my story, which means in the comeback of maybe the century, Shannon from Denver, Colorado is our winner on Who, What, When. Shannon, you got a fanny pack on your way.
Yes, I'm so excited. I had no idea I was going to win.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing that you were able to figure out, when Dan was spinning a yarn, because I'll be spinning a yarn for you, pal. I'll be making a fanny pack just for you. Congratulations, Shannon, on that victory. Very impressive. Jessica, thank you so much for playing. No fanny pack for you, and I do feel bad for you, but happy for me. And so, congratulations to Shannon.
Can I give one tiny little fun fact?
Sure, of course.
I live down the street from Nixon's birthplace.
Wow.
Anyway, sorry.
Goodness.
I meant to say that in the beginning. I just really wanted to say that before we hung up.
Shout out.
Shout out to Nixon.
Shannon, Jessica, thank you so much for shout out to me.
I know.
you.
Happy birthday, Mr.
Happy
President.
birthday, Mr. President.
Yeah. Shannon, Jessica, thank you so much.
Congratulations, Shannon.
Thank you.
And we've reached the end of the presidential edition of Who, What, When. Thanks again to our callers.
Our producer is A.T. Shire, and our executive producer is Sean Birch, who I'm getting word has a soft spot for our 8th president, Martin Van Buren, but mostly just because he rocked those great mutton chops.
This show is a production of South Carolina Public Radio and made possible in part by listener contributions to the ETV Endowment of South Carolina.
If you'd like to be a contestant on Who, What, When, give us a call at 803-470-6347. That's 803-470-6347. Or you can send us an email at whowhatwhen@scpublicradio.org.
And you can find out more about the show and listen to this episode again at our website, southcarolinapublicradio.org/whowhatwhen.
And you can subscribe to Who, What, When wherever you listen to podcasts. Once again, I'm Brandon Gray.
And I'm Daniel Thompson. Join us again next week for more history, games, and trivia right here on Who, What,